commend our faculty and staff for the good work they do, even under stressful circumstances at time. Thanks to everybody's efforts, students, staff, and faculty, we remain a dynamic where different nationalities, religions, and culture coexist in mutual respect of one another despite the international climate today. About 40 students from 24 international institutions have joined us this summer for an intensive program to learn our language and culture and to provide us with invaluable opportunity to learn about their culture and perspectives. I'm glad some of them have joined us today to share in our celebration. During your stay at AUI, you have witnessed a number of academic and physical changes. The university has started conducting scientific research and faculty and students publication. You have seen the creation of the ASU Center for Local Community Services, the Center for Environmental Issues and Regional Development, the Center for Women Empowerment, the launching of the first incubator project. But I have not to forget you witnesses too, water in the swimming pool. Yes, sometimes I regret these times where there is a lot of jokes and sketch about the swimming pool. But I hope that perhaps your class may initiate a tradition, that of jumping or diving in the swimming pool before leaving, all the class together. The university too has started a commitment with its environment. It means the region of Meknes Tafilalet. And we are happy here to have his president among us. I am so glad to announce the birth of the Alumni Association, and we are happy to have its president who will address you shortly on behalf of the association. I hope that you together and we with the association will continue to carry on AUI's message, mission, and to defend the reputation of our institution and the excellence of its education. We are determined to carry on our quest for excellence and international recognition. In this regard, we are working on a number of projects which will benefit our students and enhance the good practice of our institution. Among these are the project of quality assurance with the UNDP and accreditation through the Middle States Commission of Higher Education, with all the work it entails and the good results it is expected to yield. Ladies and gentlemen, we are gathered here today to celebrate the graduation of 129 students, distributed as follows. Graduates, 42. School of Business Administration, 26. School of Science and Engineering, 8. School of Humanities and Social Sciences, 8. Undergraduates, 87. School of Business Administration, 62. School of Science and Engineering, 21. School of Humanities and Social Science, 4. Finally, I seize this opportunity to invite our graduates to take with them the spirit of accreditation, which can be best summed as continuous quest for improvement and its validation by peers. I also call upon them to take with them the spirit of tolerance and dialogue and to better represent their institution outside. They will be ambassadors of AUI and our mission will continue through them. I would like to reiterate my warmest congratulations to our graduates and my best wishes for success to the next phase of your lives. Thank you all for your presence and attention.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, a short summary in Arabic, if you don't mind. تحدث السيد رئيس الجامعة للخريجين وذكرهم باللحظات السعيدة التي قضوها في الجامعة وعن الصداقات التي كونوها خلال دراستهم. وذكرهم أيضا بحضور الضيوف متميزين شاركوا في تكوينهم، وشكر أيضا هيئة التدريس والمستخدمين والموظفين الذين سهروا على ذلك. كما أشار إلى حضور عدد من الطلبة الأجانب من 24 جامعة أجنبية يقضون معنا فترة الدراسة الصيفية. وقد ذكر السيد الرئيس بالتزام الجامعة بالسعي وراء التفوق والاعتراف الدولي، حيث شرعت الجامعة في التعاون مع برنامج الأمم المتحدة للتنمية في برنامج لجودة التعليم، وذكر أيضا بالتعاون مع جهة مكناستة فلالة التي يرأسها السيد سعيد شبعتو الذي هو معنا اليوم، وكذلك نوه أيضا بتكوين جمعية خريجي جامعة الأخوين التي يرأسها السيد رضوان التازي الذي سوف يتحدث إليكم بعد قليل. وأعطى إحصائيات الخريجين اليوم. يتخرج اليوم 129 طالب في السلك الثالث اللي هو الماجستير، 26 في التجارة، 8 في الهندسة، و8 في العلوم الاجتماعية. في طور البكالوريوس 62 في التجارة وإدارة الأعمال، 21 في العلوم والهندسة، و4 في العلوم الإنسانية. يتفضل الآن السيد رئيس الجامعة لتقديم السيد Alain Dutheil. The President now will introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Alain Dutheil.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear graduates, I have the pleasure and the honor to present Mr. Alain Dutheil, and I have to say a few words why we have chosen him. I think it's very important. We chosen him because he is an example of a wonderful career, an outstanding achievements, and he is one of the leaders in the microelectronics industries that, as you know, is one of the main industries for our times. We choose him also because he has an international career. He worked in different places and, of course, have different responsibilities. Just a few words about his biography. He started his career with Texas Instruments as a production engineer and had different positions in France and in Dallas, Texas. In 1980, he was director of human resources of Texas Instruments in France, then director of operation, always with the same company in Portugal, and then director of Thomson Semiconductors at Aix-en-Provence site in 1983. Then director general of the Discrete Products Division, and in 1980s, Alain Dutheil initiated the development of the semiconductor industry in Morocco through supervising the first investments and transferring the first teams of Aix-en-Provence to Casablanca. He also modernized the Insbah factory thanks to the transfer of the first automated lines. Alain Dutheil is also president of SGS Thomson Morocco, and in 1989 he was received along with Pasquale Pistorio in the royal palace by late King Hassan II. In 1989, Alain Dutheil became corporate vice president of the company, occupying the function of director of human resources and world director of test and assembly factory, back end, and then strategic director of the company. In May 1994, Alain Dutheil was named corporate vice president, director general of strategic planning, parallel to his position as corporate vice president of human resources. Advocate of total quality management, he equips ST with an original training tool, ST Microelectronics University, based in Fuvo, and linked through antenna to Catan in Italy, Phoenix in USA, and Singapore. ST Microelectronics University has trained more than 20,000 ST employees in management as well as in many highly technical fields. Alain Dutheil is also president of ST Microelectronics SA, the joint venture created with the people of the Republic of China, and member of board of the trustees of ST Microelectronics Malta and ST Microelectronics Malaysia, 3 major sites of test and assembly of ST all over the world. As you noticed from his career and his different position, he is the right man to speak to you, give you some lights for your future. Thank you very much. And with me, applause Mr. Udo.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for the nice words. Excellencies, distinguished guests, dear graduates, ladies and gentlemen, it is a real pleasure for me to be here today, even more so in this beautiful location that I had the occasion to visit this morning with Mr. President, where I met some of you. It is a pleasure to be here with you today and to be addressing so many young talents from this university, which has already gained for itself such an excellent reputation for serving Morocco's educational, cultural, and economic objective and contributing to the international community through its courses for the advancement of science and technology. Some of you may know that Morocco is very dear to my heart, and Mr. President was mentioning that a while ago. In fact, I have a direct link with this country for many years, and I have been following its development and progress, both as a country and as a main location for ST microelectronics very closely. When I joined Thomson Semiconductor from Texas Instruments 20 years ago, in fact, I made the decision to start moving some assembly and test line from France, from Aix-en-Provence to Casablanca. This proved to be a very successful move, and the excellence of our facilities in Morocco, together with those in Malta, Malaysia, and Singapore, contributed strongly to our company's subsequent growth and success. Back in 1987, when Thomson Semiconductor merged with the Italian SGS Microelettronica, I was appointed corporate VP in charge of manufacturing back-end activity, the part of the semiconductor manufacturing process that deals with the assembly, test, and shipping the final product to our customer. Our plant in Morocco came under my direct responsibility, and from that position, I was able to further confirm the importance that Morocco could have for the company, which, by the way, at the time already had many manufacturing facilities in different parts of the world, a fact that actually didn't make our choice any easier. But the choice was made, and gladly so, to further enhance our presence in this country, rather than closing down the existing and fairly old facility in Ain Seba and Bouskoura. We decided to renovate them, to upgrade them, and to expand them. And at the end, to turn into what this infrastructure is today. One of the largest and most advanced sites for back-end activity of the corporation at worldwide level. But as you will see later on, the progress does not end here, and we recently decided to invest into a design center which now employs around 50 skilled engineers and is poised for further development. But again, I will tell you later about it. Let us get now to the point of what I would like to talk to you about today, at a time when you are faced with important choice concerning the direction you will follow in your professional life. Rather than a theoretical speech, I feel that the best thing I can do is to tell you about the company for which I work, and through its success story, to try to give you some additional tools to help you to make your decision about your professional life. Well, the semiconductor industry began just after the World War II in 1948, and as we all know, once it started to take off, it grew rapidly. In fact, about 15% per year, year after year, as a compound growth rate. First with some product like discrete devices, and then with integrated circuit. Microelectronics became more and more pervasive in consumer equipment, telecommunication, automotive system, and computer. In the USA and in Europe and in Japan, hundreds of chip manufacturers were founded to meet the ever-growing demand for microelectronic devices. However, it became apparent in the 80s that Europe was falling behind the worldwide competition in microelectronics, especially if you compare to the USA and later on to Japan. There was a real danger that European companies would come to depend on US and Japanese chip supplier for the technology they needed. Responding to this challenge, Thomson Semiconductor and AGS took the significant decision in 1987 to merge in order to gain the critical mass necessary to move on to the next phase. AGS Thomson Microelectronics, known today as ST Microelectronics, was born. At the time, both companies were minor players in the global semiconductor market. We were around number 20 in the world, and many analysts were really doubtful about this merger. They were all very surprised when we became one of the key players in this semiconductor industry. And when they saw our spectacular success story. How did we do that? Well, we realized at the start that the most valuable asset any company can have are not only its tangible assets, such as facilities, plant, and so on, but above all, its people. We wanted to be the kind of company that deserves its success, one that suppliers and customers would respect, and one that creative, talented people who want to join and be proud of being part of it. Of course, this didn't happen immediately. In our first year, although we had a strong portfolio of product, we had a strong technology and a good geographical presence, we were only number 15 in the world semiconductor ranking. Our billing was very poor, about $800 million. We were losing money, and our debt was more than $600 million. A really explosive combination. Yet today, ST is a top 5 company worldwide and has a pride of having greatly contributed to the strength of Europe's semiconductor industry. Since its birth, ST consistently grew faster than the overall semiconductor market, continually gaining market share, both in good time and in bad time. And we have maintained our position without resorting to the mass layoff and cut in R&D expenditure or strategic investment that so many of our competitors have had to make. We were able, during bad time, to preserve the integrity of our organization and the loyalty of our people. Today, ST is a leader in many important application areas. How did we manage to build leading-edge expertise and solid commercial success in so many different fields? A key part of the secret of our success is the enthusiasm and talent of our people, and the other part is not a secret at all. It is something we have been saying publicly ever since our birth in 1987, and more importantly, that we have been consistently doing ever since. It is based on 3 strategic guidelines. Number 1 is innovation. In our industry, if you don't innovate, you are dead. And the innovation are driven by the strategic alliance we have been able to establish with our key customers. Number 2 is globalization, by which we mean having an integrated presence, including manufacturing, sales, of course, and design in all the world's main macroeconomic system. And the last one, the third one, is productivity drive through total quality management, what is universally known as a TQM. Let's start with innovation. Because all of you here are potential innovators, R&D is expensive in our industry, but ST has never considered for 1 minute sacrificing its commitment to innovation, even in the toughest market condition, and we have consistently spent more in R&D than most of our competitors. We have always been confident that the technology that we develop can be turned to commercially successful product. One reason for that confidence, which I will come back to later, is the belief that we have in our people and the commitment that we made to them. But another important factor is the strategic alliances that we have been able to establish with some of our customers or leaders in the field of application. This strategic alliance have one of the major benefits is that by working closely with leading players in the various application segments, we are able to focus our R&D program more accurately on the technology and methodologies that our customer will actually need in the near future to maintain their own leading edge. Globalization is perhaps a controversial word today, but we have a specific interpretation of the term. We at ST mean by globalization is a commitment to having an integrated presence in all the major microeconomic systems in which we operate. Here in Morocco, for example, we not only are present with manufacturing activity, which is the core of our activity, with one of the world's most advanced assembly plants, as I said earlier. Here in your beautiful country, we also have design center that give Moroccan engineers an opportunity to play their part of the world's most dynamic industry, designing semiconductor device that will be used in equipment made and sold all across the world and belonging to a worldwide team that is respected everywhere for its innovation. Although TQM was actually invented in the USA, in fact it was Professor Deming who started it, but it was not listened to in the USA. It exported this know-how in Japan. And Japan was the first country to apply this principle rigorously to the semiconductor production. There is no doubt that it has helped Japanese manufacturers to be in a leadership position in the 90s. But also it changed the way the worldwide semiconductor industry approached the issue of quality. As you can imagine, in my position of corporate vice president for human resources for a corporation that employs more than 43,000 employees in 5 continents, any working methodology that encourages motivation, cultural exchanges, and productivity growth are very important to me. And in fact, this is what TQM is all about. It is not simply a measurement methodology, it is about empowering people and providing a culture in which they can continuously develop both personally and professionally. Believe me, 43,000 employees, empowered and enthusiastic, these are people that can take their job to heart and get it done, can do wonders in terms of result and creativity. And after all, microelectronics is based on that. The enthusiasm, the creativity of motivated individual people working together. Today, the TQM culture has evolved into something which is much more than it was originally intended. At its core, it is still about becoming more and more efficient by never being satisfied with our achievement and searching always for continuous improvement. But the perspective in which the achievements are evaluated are expanded significantly. In fact, within ST, we don't talk any longer about TQM, we talk about TQEM, Total Quality and Environmental Management. What we mean by this is that quality means much more than the simple production statistic. It means measuring our performance against all of the most important economic, social, but also environmental standards. Manufacturing a complex chip, such as a set-top box, decoder, for instance, involve some easily calculated costs, such as the number of dies per wafer and the wafer yield, but it also involves less easily calculated costs, such as the amount of energy and water required to produce each chip, and the impact that these have both within the community in which the manufacturing takes place and also on the whole world. We decided to take all of these factors into account. We developed methods for assessing the true cost of manufacturing semiconductor devices, and we pioneered methods of minimizing those costs. As you may know, for the last 10 years, ST has placed environmental responsibility among its key objectives. There is no time today for me to tell you all about the results we have achieved, which are in any case well documented and accessible on our website. Let me just mention what we call our environmental decalogue, which set out 10 major rules and set the company many ambitious targets in terms of reducing the amount of energy, water consumption, and other resources that we use, including the publicly stated objective to be carbon dioxide neutral by 2010. And while we are on the subject of environmental protection, let me say a few words about what we are doing here in Morocco. As you know, greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide are the major contributors to global warming, and one effective way of reducing their impact is to plant new forests. So just over a year ago, ST signed an agreement with your country government to plant 10,000 hectares of forest over the next 6 years in forest of La Marmora. This removes 5,800 kilotons of CO2 from the atmosphere over the next 40 years. ST will pay all costs associated with the planted forest. Thank you. But let us get back to technology. This university and all the students and graduates in this room are going to play an important part in expanding the role that Moroccan people can play